Back to Show Me Trucks. Let's get into some of the projects. Artillery wheels are getting out of control, but super happy. A guy posted some 16s, which never pop up. So, you know, I have a 51 Suburban back here. 16s is what would have came on it. The stock wheels or the artilleries. Usually you'll see 15s or obviously 17s, but 17s are way too skinny. So, I have an issue. He posted those last two ones, really clean, like really clean. If you ever see these, you can tell the rougher ones will be really, really crusty. And these are riveted on rims, so you kind of got to be a little careful. But these are so clean. I guess they came from out west. He must have bought them a long time ago before the prices went crazy, because his prices weren't bad. And he had those too, and I'm about to leave. I have both kids in hand. You know, buying parts is a little hard over Thanksgiving with my kids home. But he's like, "Do you have other ones?" I was like, "No, I don't have any other wheels." And he like gave me this weird look, and I was like, "Well, if you have more, I definitely want to buy some more." He's like, "I have 2 more sets," and I'm like, "People never have these." So I was like, "Well, if you're into selling them." He's like, "Well, I'll only sell it as a set." So I was like, "Ah, crap." I didn't bring a ton of money because I wasn't really expecting that. He had signs everywhere. He had the coolest garage ever. He's a lineman. He's been buying stuff forever, so he had really cool stuff. So I was like, well, I have enough to buy this set, and I'd already bought these. I'm like, oh, and then he's like, well, I have a powder-coated set. For me, I'm like, well, that's probably out of my price range. For sure, I don't make much money. So I bought these, you know, 6 16s. I already had these 4. I've been trying to collect these 15s for a long time. But I posted these for sale because, you know, I need money. So these actually I have to ship out. I need to pull that tire off today, get these shipped out to California. Now I have 6 of these. I think I'm going to post these for sale. And if I make enough money, I'll have enough money to buy his powder-coated set. And depending on what's going on, maybe I will keep the powder-coated set for me, or maybe I'll end up having to sell those too. My problem is that my rear axle is 4 3/4. Now I'm regretting, if you've been watching this for a while, I had a straight axle with 6 lug with disc brakes. I decided I was going to do the C4 suspension and bought that, and now I'm thinking I'm going to go back to a straight axle. There's a guy with a straight axle disc brake setup that's cheap. And it's 4 3/4. It even has lowering springs, which I wasn't thinking I was going to do lowering springs, so maybe I will. Maybe I'll throw them on and see what I think about it. But obviously then I can't use any of these artilleries. They get a lot of money. My main issue with artilleries in general is that the rivets usually don't seal, so usually you run tubes in those. I know guys will seal them up, and sometimes they get it to work, but these bring enough money. It's really hard for me to keep these. It just is, because money is tight. So let me show you a couple differences. One thing I did notice that I hadn't seen on these, because I've never had the 16s, is that you can tell there's no like indention on the 15s where the air spout goes. But on these, there is. It kind of has a little indentation on 15s, which I thought was, or 16s, which I thought was interesting. Again, if you were looking for these, you can kind of tell the 17s like really cone up there. The 16s do a little more, but the 15s don't that much. But obviously, whenever you look over the top, you can really tell the difference on these. 17s just have like a bigger dip in there, but super excited. Like, obviously, if people don't buy them, I'm not bummed on keeping these, but now I have a good amount of money into artillery wheels. These sold, you know, I'll get my money back plus some. Those, I could probably sell a set and get my money back on those, but I'd really love the powder coated ones. They are super clean. Obviously, sandblast and powder coat saves me a lot of money. And they're black, like I was planning on running black anyway, so that's kind of, we'll see. If I end up buying this straight axle disc brake setup up front, then I'm not going to run these. I'm going to have to run kind of like some Nova wheels, or, you know, some rally wheels. Those bolt patterns. I'm kind of leaning towards 235. I hate this, like, back and forth on engines. Like, I have a lead on an LS, and I can go pick it up, and it's actually up where this straight axle is, and I probably should just buy it. Money's tight, so it sucks spending that much money right before Christmas, but now I'm trying to sell this C4 setup, which sucks because people aren't really biting on it. Maybe I need to put the whole thing back together so it looks more appealing. And I could just throw this in and be totally happy. And if I threw it full width, I could run power steering and not have to run that rack, even though no one's trying to buy that rack either. So I don't know. I got myself in a pickle right now, but I'm loving artillery wheels. So if you're wondering, artillery wheels are the coolest. I have lug nut 4-wheel drive disc brake conversion kit. So semi-float 14 bolt rear end in this, so you still have C-clips. The hardest part so far is getting these lugs out is rough because you have to put your disc on and then run your lugs in from the back and kind of just sandwiches it on, which is kind of a pain, but whatever. I guess fitment wise, that's just what you gotta do. Pop those off. I still have to do the other side. How I did it, if you guys are wondering, is I had this pipe over here and kind of positioned it so that it had a nice flat area and then hammered against it. And obviously I would not want to just hammer on that until it comes out, just in case it bends the flange or something. You obviously don't want that. So I wanted the backing, and even with the pipe backing, it is hard to get those out. Yes, probably a little overkill for a short bed, but I had bought it because, for one, I didn't have the drum set up because I threw it away in California. Two, I wanted to tow my trailer with it, so I wanted some nice brakes. Whoever buys it gets to reap all the benefits. Got the disc brakes on. Very stressful for a minute. The bracket in the picture was on the wrong side, so I got very confused. But on their picture, they had the bracket towards the rotor, but it actually is supposed to go on the inside. So finally got that all test fit in. Like I said, the hardest part is knocking your studs out, getting your other studs in. Besides that kit is nice. The one thing I do need to do, I'm gonna make little tabs. I didn't splurge and get the weld-on tabs, but I need to make little tabs for the hoses to mount. I think I'm gonna mount them way over, if you guys are curious, way over by the shock mounts, because I gotta make some shock mounts right there. So I think it's gonna be way over here. I was very curious. I was almost gonna weld something on before, but I was gonna have them way over by the U-bolts, but these hoses are pretty long. So both of them end up being by the 14 bolt housing. So happy with the kit. Now that I know it all works, I gotta pull it apart. That way I can sand down those brackets and paint the brackets. And I need to paint that axle too. And while it's all up, I'm going to get my shock mounts positioned. That way I can tack them on. Then once I pull the axle out, I can fully weld all that. I gotta fully weld the perch. I just have it in place. But the other one I'm gonna work on for the rest of the day is this is that 10 bolt. So one of my backing plates came in. Luckily I didn't try to make it because I think I showed you. This is the one that was on there. This is the replacement one. And like I said, it's $60. Well, I showed up today to get it, and they're like, well, here's one. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's $60 a piece. And on a $60 axle, obviously I was a little upset. But apparently the guy just didn't realize there should be 2 backing plates. But so that it's a special order part, so they got to order it. So I'm gonna throw one side on, get it all mounted up. Another thing, if you guys buy these parts, if you have like a show truck, man, I like this dimple they put in there for there's a little magnet in there, but that dimple looks stupid. But whatever, my truck is not a show truck, so I don't really care.